Hi guys, it's been a while. Alright, so probably definitely some of you have already mentioned that I got a letter in the mail. I don't know when, but it's not the usual letter I get. It's not like junk mail. Well, it is junk mail, but it's not like the usual junk mail of just throwing it out and things like that. And it was written by one of my neighbors. The neighbors of the cesspool, because for whatever reason they thought it was a good idea to cast a wide net and try to get to know their neighbors. Now, I'm not someone who wants to get to know anyone here because I hate this place. Just my thing, I just hate this place for obvious reasons, but you know. I don't hate this person because this person doesn't know me and doesn't know any better not to do something like this because it's weird and kind of creepy. But I'm going to read it and then I'm going to talk about it and explain why you shouldn't do something like this, because it's kind of, to some people it could be very, very triggering in a bad way, and it could, lead to something way worse than, just a simple, like, hey, this is kind of creepy, leave me alone. Or what most people would do is probably just throw it away. But because I'm me and I deal with not people like this, but the people in charge of this organization that they're a part of. And this is mainly, a message to them. So, this was addressed to a past neighbor or current resident. I do want to say that it was addressed to one or the other, because they didn't actually get to know their neighbor, I guess, very well. They knew their name. They just didn't bother to learn that they left and, they moved out. So here's the letter, and I already read this. I skimmed it and then I read it just now. So I'm going to read it out loud. It says, "Hello. I hope my letter finds you well. I'm reaching out to my neighbors to discuss the question. Ellipses. What is the kingdom of God? Something in your heart, a figure of speech, a government in heaven? We can look to the Bible for the answer. Daniel 2:44 tells us, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed. What does that mean for us? Isaiah chapter 44, verse 17 to 18 and 18 says a righteous government that will benefit us all personally. Revelations 21, 3 and 4 shows us that God promises to wipe out every tear and pain. Death and mourning will be no more. So we can be confident that God's kingdom will bring an end to all the problems we see today and give us the best possible future. For more information, please visit our free Bible-based website, and it's JW.org. Now, if you don't know what JW.org is, it is the website of Jehovah's Witnesses. I know this because while I wasn't in the Jehovah's Witness, I'm on YouTube a lot, and a lot of things intrigue me, like cults, so, and atheism and atheist activism. I also like that too. I'm not an atheist, as you can tell. Well, I'm an agnostic, but I'm not a hardline atheist, for obvious reasons. I'm gonna push you back away. Okay, there we go. I don't really have a problem with, people. Actually, yeah, I do. I do have a problem with people try to proselytize, especially through this. Like, this is creepy. And knowing that Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult, like, they're a cult. They hit all the points on the bite model to, determine if it's a cult or not. So, and I'll, leave a link to a guy who is an ex-Jehovah's Witness who talks about Jehovah's Witness, and he's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, actually. I'm sure he won't mind if I tell people that, because he says it on his channel. So, I'll leave a link to, him as well. His name is Owen, and his channel name is Telltale. No, not like the games, but like he's basically almost like a sort of a podcast, and I guess sort of a podcast, but not as long as a podcast, and much more, it's much shorter, but basically, this is basically a bait and switch type of deal. So if anyone's going through a hard time, this would be like something that they would do to get people in. And reel people in with like false promises of making everything better. Or if you join this religion or join this, they're not gonna say cult, but if you join this religion, then all your problems magically go away. One, not all your problems will go away. From what I've heard from this guy and other people, they have a lot more problems within cults. So, there would be literally no point in joining a cult like the Jehovah's Witnesses. And the fact that you have to, go out and proselytize, and that they use fear-mongering tactics, like us versus them mentalities, to describe people like apostates. Because an apostate, if you don't know, is someone, an apostate is someone who is critical of the religion and the higher-ups, which is basically the Watchtower Society. The Watchtower Society is like the heads of the organization and heads of the churches that they govern. And I would be considered an apostate. I would be considered a bad person because I'm critical of little bitches like the Watchtower and the heads of that organization preying on people and making them feel bad for just being a human being, trying to live their best life. And they also break up families by encouraging shunning. Yeah, shunning is that's not a proper way to deal with people. To cut off communication with people in your household or your family, any sort of family any person that you consider family, because we know I have a different definition of who is considered family and who's not. So, like, let's say I joined a Jehovah's Witness, and let's say someone from one of my coworkers is very critical of Jehovah's Witnesses, like me, and they just like come at me. Now, they would probably tell me to be polite, which I'm about. You can be polite and not engage with people, but they would take it to an extreme and just say, don't talk to them. Don't have anything to do with them. It's not worth it. It's not worth your soul to be dragged down to hell or to have Jehovah punish you and turn you away from Jehovah. I don't know if they have a Jesus or any type of deal within that, you know. It's basically a Christian. They take Judeo-Christian Bible, but they also like use Jehovah, like, and they're very focused on that creator being. They're not really focused on the Jesus and anything like that. They're just that being that, you know, created this earth and people. Because it's basically, like I said in the scapegoating video with Satan, it's basically sort of that. Like, they have like that Satan element in there, but like Satan, it's more of an abstract sort of deal with Satan. Sometimes they use like a being, sometimes they don't. I'm not sure. But like, you know, like, it's just the dumbest. This is like the dumbest shit ever. Like, I don't blame this person. This person is definitely deep in the religion. Not the religion. Deep within the cult. And is trying to get new members. Or trying to be as helpful as can be. They think they're helping. But if I were to be in a really dark place and really vulnerable, and I, you know, tried to join up, and it's basically COVID, so they're not really supposed to be doing things like this. They're not supposed to be proselytizing. At least, you know, that's one of the last videos I watched of Telltale, is that they're supposed to be stopping all door knocking, all proselytizing, and this is basically soliciting at this point, dropping letters in my mailbox, like, yeah, sure, it didn't have anything. Join this right now. Can I tell you about this? Well, no, you just dropped a fucking letter in my mailbox that I'm renting, and you're saying that there's a government, supernatural beings, or one supernatural being, which this government sounds like a dictatorship if you actually get into it. And it's because when you join the Watchtower Society, or the Watchtower, I don't know if it's a society, if that's the end of it, or if it's just the Watchtower, but I'm gonna use those interchangeably. But the Watchtower basically runs the entire thing, and they just use Jehovah as like the guiding force. That's like, they're not saying that you have to do something, Jehovah's saying it. So it's kind of like that deal. Like, oh, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying a supernatural being that determines the fate of your soul and your life is saying that you have to do this, or else, you know, something bad could happen to you and he might punish you. Because it's always a man. It's never a woman. It's never a goddess. At least in a... Well, actually Catholics, you know, considered Mother Mary as, you know, one of a deified being. But Irish Catholics, at least, you know. But, you know. That's a religion. That's different from a cult. Saying that you have to stick to these points. You can't talk to people on the outside, otherwise, unless it's for proselytization and getting new members, which, really, I mean, they didn't know who they were sending this to. They thought it was the neighbor that they knew. They thought it was the person that they knew. Or a current resident. Which... Because they didn't have any, you know, reference that, hey, this person moved out whenever, and now this new person lives there, and will not talk to anybody for any real reason. Because I don't care about this place or the people. Now, if we meet on the street and I make friends with them, that's sure, fine, whatever. That'll happen since I don't really leave this place unless it's for work or for groceries. Or for a meeting, which I have tonight, but who cares about that? No one cares. So, to the Watchtower, if you made it this far into it without, blowing your tops and getting all upset and uppity about some 22-year-old calling your asses out who is not an ex-Jehovah's Witness, tell your members to leave me alone because I don't want to have anything to do with the Watchtower because y'all are a bunch of little bitches and I've already dealt with my fair share of little bitches, okay? So, tell them not to send me any more letters like this. It's very cute. I don't care about it though, and I'm not into cults. So, y'all can fuck off. Bye.